It's supposed to be Bruno versus De Bruyne, but Bruno is doing his own thing in this tournament. So it's Ronaldo versus De Bruyne. Belgium versus Portugal, Euro 2020, round of 16, match preview. What's going on, guys? Welcome to For the Fans. This is the World of Football show, Euro edition, where we're covering the round of 16, Portugal versus Belgium. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'm choosing Belgium to win this. Belgium play better football. Belgium play some of the best football in the tournament. I think in this whole tournament, the team that play the best football is Germany, is Italy, and it's Belgium. These are the teams that play the best football. Now I know the Germans concede goals, and that's because they can't defend, but also because they've got no insurance in front of the defense. They play with two midfielders, and those two midfielders are Kroos and Gundogan, and none of those guys, Toni Kroos can't defend, Gundogan can defend, but that's not his game. So they're not playing with an insurance policy in front of the defense, and that's part and parcel why they're conceding so many goals. But I'm talking about in terms of playing football with the ball at your feet. Who's playing the better football? Who's making triangles on the pitch? Who's got passing patterns? Who's moving the ball 1 and 2 touch? And you can see they have a game plan, and you can see what they're doing in training. It's Germany, it's Italy, and it's Belgium. These are the teams that are playing the best football, and so that's why I'm tipping Belgium to beat Portugal, is because Belgium got a style of play. They're playing fantastic football, and Portugal in this campaign has been underwhelming. Let's face it, they've been underwhelming. Throughout the group stages, all 3 games, they haven't had a total performance. The first game they played against Hungary, they beat Hungary 3-0, but anyone who watched that game will tell you that that was not a true reflection of the game. That score line was not a true reflection of the game. They only scored in the 84th minute, and that was because Hungary was keeping them at bay. Hungary defended superbly, extremely well, and Portugal scored with a deflected goal. And anytime you score a goal against a team that's parking the bus, the floodgates open, because that team, that was their game plan. That was the only thing they were coming into that game to do, was park the bus and get a point. So the minute they concede a goal, which is something that was part of their game plan, they do not want to concede a goal. That's their game plan. Guys, we're not conceding a goal. So the minute their game plan gets scrapped and gets washed away, they've got nothing to play for, and you will always beat those teams by many goals. And that's why even in your domestic league, all the managers that are managing the top clubs will tell you that when you play in those smaller clubs, you need to score first. You need to score first, and you need to score quick. Because if you score first and you score quick in the game is open and the floodgates are open, and you will beat that team by a big score and comfortably. So that's what happened against Portugal and Hungary. Hungary was superb in that game, but Portugal scored a deflected goal, and then it went south after that. Then they went and versed the Germans, and the Germans outplayed them. The Germans totally outplayed them. The Germans scored 4, the result was 4-2, but the Germans could have scored even more. When the Germans scored their 4th goal, they took their foot off the pedal, and they started making substitutions, and that's where Portugal got their 2nd goal, but the Germans were the better team. Then Portugal went on to play France, and it was a mixed game. That was one of their better games, but it was a mixed game, because in the first half they were doing well. In the second half they did not do anything, and they scored 2 goals, and both goals were penalties. So I can't rate a team that's scoring penalties, that wants to go through this competition scoring penalties. I don't know if Portugal can penalty their way through to the final. I don't know, but I hope not, because I don't rate any team that's relying on penalties to win, and that's what Portugal are doing. They're relying on penalties to get results. So they played against France, and the first half they were maybe the better team, but in the second half France were better. And especially when France scored their 2nd goal, France dominated that game. And then yes, they gave away a penalty, but France dominated the game in the second half. So Portugal have had an underwhelming start to this campaign. And so that's why I'm tipping Belgium. Belgium, yes, they've had an easier group, a much easier group, but Belgium have gone through every game being the better team, showing they're the better team and playing good football. Now Belgium, in order to win this game, number one, they need Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne will start. We know he's fit. We know he's match ready. He's got his match sharpness. They gave him minutes over the last few games. He will start. But I think Kevin De Bruyne is critical for Belgium to beat Portugal. But for Belgium to go all the way to the final and win it, Eden Hazard is critical. They need Eden Hazard. They cannot continue with Carrasco and with Mertens. They can't continue with any of these players. They need Eden Hazard. They need Kevin De Bruyne to feed Romelu Lukaku. So that's what they need to go all the way to the final. But just to beat Portugal, they need Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne supplying Lukaku, and there will be goals. Romelu Lukaku is on form in this tournament. He's looking like he's going to take this tournament by the scruff of the neck. He's looking fit. He's looking sharp, and he's improved. There's a drastic improvement on Romelu Lukaku. I'm a Manchester United fan. We sold Romelu Lukaku. The prime reason we sold Romelu Lukaku was because of his ball control. He could not play with his back facing the net and holding up the ball for the teammates to come and support him and for the team to move further up on the field. He could not do that. Every time a player played the ball into Romelu Lukaku, his touch was like a trampoline. It bounced off him and we lost the ball. He could not relieve the team from pressure. He could not hold up the ball because of his ball control was so low. He's gone to Inter and he publicly came out and he said when he got to Inter, Antonio Conte worked with him on his first touch and his ball control, worked with him on how to play with his back toward the goal, holding up the play. He worked with him, and right now you can see that work in action. He's a much more rounded player. He's much better holding the ball up, and his ball control is so good. Whether it be his first touch or whether he's running with the ball at his feet, his ball control is good, and it's clearly something he's worked on, and he's looking ready, guys. Romelu Lukaku is looking ready, and I probably think Romelu Lukaku will finish with the most goals in this tournament, because when you've got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne supplying you, I mean, come on, what more do you want? Kevin De Bruyne is the ultimate assist king, and that's why even when people are comparing Kevin De Bruyne to Bruno Fernandes, guys, stop that. I'm a Manchester United fan, but I will tell you, Bruno was not close to Kevin De Bruyne. When it comes to numbers, yes, but the game is not about numbers. The game is about performances. Performances is chalk and cheese. Bruno doesn't give you a total performance. That's why he's struggling to make it into the Portuguese team. They benched Bruno, and Jose Mourinho came out, and Jose Mourinho said about the first two games in which Bruno Fernandes was playing, he said Portugal are playing with 10 men. He said Bruno Fernandes is on the pitch but he's not playing, and that's true. Bruno has been I would say mediocre to poor in this campaign. Portugal benched him for their last group game against France. That was their most vital game. If they did not get a result out of that game, they were not qualifying to the round of 16. Such an important game, and they decided to bench Bruno Fernandes, and they played better without Bruno. So guys, you stop that comparing Kevin De Bruyne to Bruno Fernandes. In like manner, stop comparing Paul Pogba to Bruno Fernandes. Understand levels in football. There's levels to football. Kevin De Bruyne, Paul Pogba, they are at one level. They're at a world-class level. And then below that, you've got Bruno Fernandes. But just understand levels. Now, I'm not saying Bruno's a bad player. Bruno is not a bad player. Bruno is a very good player, but he cannot compare to the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and the likes of Paul Pogba, who run games. We've even seen in this campaign, Paul Pogba is probably the best player in this campaign. I spoke about Romelu Lukaku in terms of goals. I said Romelu Lukaku will finish top goal scorer in this campaign, provided Belgium make it all the way to the final. I do think he'll finish top goal scorer. But the best player in this tournament is Paul Pogba, hands down, I can tell you. So stop that comparing, guys. Stop that comparing. So speaking about Bruno Fernandes, you also hear that, oh, Bruno is an 8 because they're playing Bruno Fernandes in a 10. But that's where Bruno plays for Manchester United. That's where Bruno made his name into these elite levels. He's playing as a number 10. Bruno Fernandes is not a number 8. There's nothing inside of him that says he's a number 8. So I don't get what some people saying, oh, Bruno's a number 8, he needs to play in a number 8 position. As I said, he plays in a number 10 for Manchester United, and that's where he made his name. That's where he made his name playing in number 10. But because it's not going well for him playing in Portugal, now you want to say they're playing him out of position, he needs to play in a number 8. He's not a number 8, guys. A number 8 is a box-to-box midfielder. It means that this midfielder plays in his own half and also plays in the opposition half. So in a 90-minute game, you will see him playing in his own half, and in the same game, you'll see him playing in the opposition half. He plays box-to-box, he plays in one half, he plays in the other half. The fundamentals of a box-to-box number 8 midfielder is the following. He has to be able to carry the ball, he has to be able to pass the ball, he has to be able to defend, and then also attack. Okay, let's put the attack one side. He needs to be able to carry the ball, he needs to be able to pass, he needs to be able to defend. He needs to be able to do at least one of these 3 things if he is to be considered a number 8. Bruno Fernandes cannot defend. Okay, you see him pressing, he can press. Every player can press. Pressing is running around. But defensive actions and defensive abilities, that's not his game. He's not good in that. So he can't defend, number 1. Number 2, he can't carry the ball. So as a number 8, okay, if he can't carry the ball, he can't drive with the ball, he can't run with the ball. Okay, so he can't carry the ball. So if you can't carry the ball, guys, as a number 8, you need to be able to pass the ball. You need to be able to take good care of the ball and pass the ball and have a passing range. Passing is not Bruno's main attribute. It's not his main attribute. His passing is hit and miss. He doesn't take care of the ball. And even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in one of the games, I think it was in Europa, we played in Europa, and he said he took Bruno Fernandes off because Bruno was giving the ball away. That's how Bruno plays. He's not a very good passer of the ball. Yes, he'll give you that one pass out of maybe 5 where it will go to someone, it'll go over the defense. He can do that, but he's not an amazing passer. That's not his game. So I've given you the breakdown of a number 8. A number 8 needs to be able to defend. He needs to be able to carry the ball, he needs to be able to pass the ball, then he needs to be able to attack. So Bruno can't do any of those 3, he can attack. Bruno's main attribute is shooting. That's his main attribute. And Bruno is one of the best shooters I have seen in Europe right now. He's one of the best shooters. Whenever Bruno shoots, that ball is either going to trouble the keeper or go in the back of the net. Bruno is an amazing shooter. He's there with Cristiano Ronaldo, he's there with Lionel Messi, he's there with all these players, Mason Greenwood, in terms of shooting. He's there. So if his main attribute is shooting, he needs to be in and around the box to score a goal, because his main attribute is shooting. So he needs to be in and around the box to shoot, guys. He can't be playing in his own half if his main attribute is shooting. This is why I tell you Bruno is a number 10, he's not a number 8. And Bruno was a specified number 10. He's a specific number 10 in that he needs free roam. He's not an orthodox number 10 like Ozil that can play in the pockets, that can play in the half turn, that can play in the half spaces. Bruno can't do that. Bruno never ever plays in pockets. He never ever picks up the ball in between the lines. That's not how Bruno plays. Bruno needs free roll. He needs a free roll that Manchester United give him. And unfortunately, there's no other club that's going to give him that, and even at Portugal they are not going to give him that, because if you're going to give a player that free role that Bruno has, it's to the detriment of the whole cohesive unit as a team. It's to the detriment of the team, because if he's playing in the number 10 position and you give him that free role, all of a sudden when he goes to play on the left wing, you've got no one in the 10 position, you've got no one to link the midfield to the attack, and also you will get outrun in the midfield because you're only playing with 2 midfielders. That's what happens with Manchester United time and time again. That's what happens with Manchester United, and unfortunately, as I said, no club is going to give him that free role, and also at his national team they are not allowing him that freedom. They're telling him he must be a number 10, but he must be a disciplined number 10. He needs to stay in the number 10 position, and he needs to play in the pockets, and that's not his game. That's not how he plays for Manchester United, and as a result of that, he is struggling for Portugal. Portugal played without him. They put João Moutinho, they put Renato Sanchez in the team, and all of a sudden, when they played against France, that was one of their best performances out of the other 2 games that they played. So I don't know, guys, if Bruno Fernandes will start or will not start, but this is my lineup that I think Portugal will go with. So it's the exact same team that they played against France with, and I do think they need to go for that because Belgium are going to have more of the ball, so Portugal will be running around more. And if they're running around more, they need the likes of Renato Sanchez, because he's a box-to-box midfielder and a very good one at that. I heard Liverpool are interested in him, and I think he's the perfect replacement for Wijnaldum. The perfect replacement. He's probably like a mirror image player of Wijnaldum. Extremely good. He's got an engine inside of him. He never gets tired. He's physically so strong. He gave Kante a big problem. A huge problem he gave Kante. So that's the team that I expect Portugal to go with, and this is the team I expect Belgium to go with. So that's my lineup for Belgium. Belgium played 3-4-3. They play with wingbacks, and they've mastered that formation. They do it very well. Munier, fantastic going forward. Then they've got, sometimes they play with Torgan Hazard as well on the left wing. I do think Kevin De Bruyne will play on either left wing back. Sorry, I'm talking about Torgan Hazard. I do think that Kevin De Bruyne will play either on the left side of Lukaku or on the right hand side of Lukaku on paper. But when the game is in motion, I do feel that Kevin De Bruyne will come into the number 10 position, and Belgium will probably set up 3-4-1-2 when the game is in motion, because they need Kevin De Bruyne in the middle of the park in the number 10 position, picking out Lukaku and having the field to himself to spray those passes as he can. I'm predicting a win for Belgium. I can't see anything. I do think it will be a tight game. Portugal will defend deep. That's how Portugal play. They play with a low block, and they will look to hit them on the counter with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. We saw his goal for Germany. He's still an athlete. He's still got the pace. He's still got the power. He's still got the desire. He's still got the engine to do it. And that's why it boggles my mind when I see Manchester United fans saying that they don't want Cristiano Ronaldo. You don't want Cristiano Ronaldo, but you're accepting Edison Cavani, who they are both old players. But Cristiano Ronaldo is far the better athlete. Not even talking about the better player, far the better athlete. Because when you're considering age of players, you look at, can they run? Are they mobile? Can they make it through 90 minutes of game? So you're looking at the athleticism parts of the players. And he's more of an athlete than Edison Cavani, a much better athlete. He's the best athlete. If he is to come to Manchester United, he's the best athlete at Manchester United. He's probably the best athlete in world football, in Europe, sorry. So I don't understand Manchester United fans saying we don't want Ronaldo, but you want to take Edison Cavani. There's no sense in that. Ronaldo's the better athlete, he's the better player, he's the better finisher, he's the better runner, he's the better everything. So if you don't want to take him, then I don't know. So guys, that's my match preview. As I'm saying, Belgium to win it. If I'm looking at goals, I'll probably say 2-1. I think it'll be 2-1 or 1-0, but it'll be a close game. Belgium to win it, Belgium to go to the quarterfinals, and Portugal to get knocked out. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you after the game for your match review. Peace.